All right, we're gonna flip the tugboat over. I actually have Brittany to help me this morning. The lighter end is over here, so what I'm gonna have you do is lift it up. You go out first,
Okay.
and then set the bench here on that triangle-shaped board.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll set my end on the other. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, well that went nice and smoothly. Got the bottom of the boat turned over, thanks to Brittany's help, and it's now resting on a cradle that I think I can probably show you under here. This cradle is actually the part of the bending jig that I used to make the transom. So worked out perfect. It was the perfect height for that center keel to sit right down in the middle of, and this makes it nice and sturdy. So now I've got a nice workable height for working on the sides of the hull and the stem, which is going to go right here. There's going to be probably a little bit of a cutout that's going to have to happen right there for the stem to go in place. I'm going to get the shop warmed up, get the heater fired up, and this space warms up fairly quickly because it's so small. So get it warmed up, and probably we work on this afternoon a little bit after it warms up. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna go put up some Christmas lights. You get a view of my my waist down today, unless I'm working down here. What I'm doing is, let me turn the music down. Yeah, I got a broad range of music likes. So today, it's a little bit of Kesha. So what I'm gonna do is take a step back and finish out the transom fiberglass, because it's supposed to be fiberglass on both sides. And I'm just gonna use the bench top here since it'll make a good enough table to do this on. So I think, let's roll this out and see how much I got here. I think I've got enough, maybe, to do both sides of the transom. Okay, so once I do that, then it'll be time to fiberglass the whole top side, and it's just going to be piece by piece, so it'll be actually a lot easier than the bottom. It'll take probably a little longer, but doing it piece by piece, smaller pieces means smaller batches of resin and easier pieces of fiberglass to maneuver around, so being smaller. So should be easier. So I'm going to do the transom, and then the floor, and then I'll go back to the stem and get started on the sides. Got a little bit of sanding here. There's one of the reinforcement brackets on the inside here sticking out a little bit. So actually I'll probably do that first because that's going to create some dust. I did notice too that on the left keel, the port side keel, that there is a couple of spots that have to be touched up again with fiberglass filler because I missed them. So I'll just tip this up on its side and work on it sideways at some point. Alright. The other side's probably going to be done too, but I'll wait. You can see in the video or not, can't see it quite well from here, but there's about 3 inches on either side that'll get trimmed off afterwards, but it gets glassed first and then it gets cut. So I'm not going to actually fiberglass it all the way to the edge. It's just a waste. So I'll fiberglass it up to about 1.5 inches. That way I know for sure that I'm making my cut into the fiberglass and trimming off the excess without losing excessive fiberglass. I won't have enough out of this piece to do the other side, but that's okay. I got a whole other section of fiberglass sitting over there. Yep, not big enough to do the back. I could do it in 2 pieces, but that's gonna look ugly, so I'll just use the other fiberglass. The other fiberglass is this is a 6 ounce weave. This is a 4.5 ounce that I've got here. Not much difference, especially for the outside. It'll look nicer to be smooth. It's a little bit smoother anyway. And then the seams where the sides and the transom meet the bottom of the boat will get 2-inch tape. For some reason the edges are always the hardest to wet out. But it's probably because that resin goes off the edge. Doesn't really have any place to sit. It's hard to get pressed into the weave. I think that's going to happen at some point. That little whatever this thing is sitting on is not as wide as the bottom of the boat, so that was inevitable. All right, got full coverage. This song is old. That looks good. So now I'm going to lay down wax paper. Sorry about the view. Excess resin on this side. Push that out to the edge. This does a really good job of getting the resin pushed right down in the last little bits of the weave that didn't quite accept the resin when I was just spreading directly on fiberglass. I think that's going to turn out super nice. Now I'm going to set this off to the side. I think I have just enough space to put it off to the side here and then tip the bottom up so I can work on that other keel while this cures. All right, so as I was saying, I'm going to take the transom, set it on the 2 sawhorses right there, and then I'm going to take the bottom and tip it up and lean it against the bench here. Hopefully not disturb the transom as it sits over there. So now I'm just going to tip the bottom of the boat up on its edge, and I'm going to do the filler on the keel. I got messed up. Not messed up, but it didn't get filled quite quickly. Show you what I'm talking about. See, I had to cut all this. This was all cut out. You see right here, it's a little bit soft. Push it in. Same thing here. the cloth just kind of looped over the top rather than sat down on the keel. It did okay here. This is all nice and solid with that filler, but so I got spot there, this whole spot there, and then all the way in the back here too. There's a spot, and then one more in the back here. So it'll take a batch or two of the Bondo filler and fill it in, let it harden, sand it, and I'll lay this back down. And the bottom will be finally done. Now the problem is, by putting this up on its edge like this, I've more or less blocked my access to my cardboard. This is the edge of the transom. Working in a tight space. Toy, like a toy gun. I should be able to get all these patches filled with one batch, maybe two. Depends on how much I need to use on this first patch. Pretty wide area. By wide, I mean wide this way, not this way. Somewhat annoying that I have to do this because I'm annoyed at myself because I just didn't catch this yesterday when I was wrapping what I thought was wrapping up the bottom all together, so I could not worry about the bottom of the boat anymore until it came time to paint. But this morning when we were going to turn this over, I noticed that these spots were going to be a problem because they essentially weren't waterproof to the wood. And not waterproof to the wood, that means that over time, obviously, wood is going to get damaged and the structure would be compromised, and I just don't want to deal with that later, so it has to be fixed now. Okay, well, so I got two more little spots to do. This batch is done. So when I'm spreading it, it's starting to actually flake off. And once that starts happening, the batch is done being worked. So that one's trash. Do another small batch here. Can't quite reach my sticks. Hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully I can actually now call the bottom done after these last two patches go on. Until it's time to prime it and paint it. This piece of this piece of cardboard is awfully flimsy. Since I have some extra, I might as well put some more in the fillet area, just for the hell of it, because it's always good to make sure the fillet's reinforced. Make sure the joint is reinforced with a fillet, I should say. It's going to make more sanding, but alright, that batch is done. That's awesome, I just dropped it on the floor. Luckily it didn't land epoxy side down. Oh, God. Oh, you're... Okay. All right, well, I'm going to sign off for another video. I got the bottom of the hull laid back down. The keel that had the filler requirement is done. And that will actually finally conclude the bottom of the boat until it's time to paint it. So I'm tired and I'm going to go inside and grab a beer and sit down and not do much of anything for the rest of the evening. So I'll let that sit tonight. tomorrow I'll do the other side, and then I'll probably start glassing the bottom of the boat on the top side. So until then, have a good one. Glad you came by.